Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northeast, ending with Team 2 in the Southwest. Starting off with Team 1, Southeasternmost player in Tropical Ocean Blue. We have Peter 321 going first land. As an Aeon, he is an 1100. To his north in Stitch Blue, we have the Seraphim Commander of Loki going first land. He is a 1600, tied for the highest ranked player on his team. To his southwest in Orange, the color orange, is the UEF player of Sir Spot-A-Lot going first land in Orange, the color orange. He is an 1100. In Batman Great to his north, it is Eurofmeister going first land. As an Aeon, he is the player with which Loki is tied with at a 1600 rating for the highest ranked player on his team. And rounding out Team 1's roster in the west, it is Jim Jack J going first land. As a Cybran, he is a 1000 rated player in Royal Blue. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have one of each of the factions with a dual major in UEF, which means, dual major in Aeon, which means one UEF, one Seraphim, one Cybran, and two Aeon for Team 1. In the Northwest here for Team 2, we have in glow-in-the-dark green, Manger 33 going first land. As a Seraphim, he is a 1000 rated player. To his south in Regal Purple, we have the Eggroll going first land. As a Seraphim, he is a 1600. To his east in Light Oak Tan, we have already moving to the middle of the map, ADZ 3000 going first land. As a Cybran, he is an 1100. In the southwest position, or at least in the direction, we have Faffing off going first land. As another Cybran here for Team 2, he is a 1900, the highest ranked player on Team 2 and in the game overall. And to his east in Ruby Red, we have the Cybran Commander of Ricky Tiki Tavi going first land. He is in Ruby Red. He is a 1000 rated player. So for Team 2 side of the map, they only have Cybran and Seraphim. 3 Cybrans, 2 Seraphim for Team 2, which means they lack Aeon and UEF technology. And for 10 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Very big values in the middle of the map. We have 50,000 reclaim, which means per player there is 5,000 mass to scoop up. So our players are going to be desperate to grab that reclaim or try to deny it from their opponents. And as I stated, a lot of it is in the middle of the map. We see 6,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 3,000. So probably call that essentially 9,000 coupled together with that other 38. Looks like 38. And there's a lot of mass over here as well. 44, 44 with 1,000 or so down here in the south. A couple of hundreds or so near the main bases for both teams, but a lot of it is in the middle of the map. So it's going to be a desperate run, which does explain why ADZ left essentially immediately after building, of course, his land factory. And for mass points on the map, we'll take a look at Team 1 side of the map. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quad mechs. Actually, sorry, 6 quad mechs positions with 1 trimex right next to Peter and a little bit of spreading out of mass points. But there's a lot of high concentrated mass points in this game. There's a couple of mexes in the middle of the map, cutting down the middle as well. There's 4 dual mechs positions. So it's going to be very much a mad dash for the reclaim first, and then establishing some frontline either production facilities or fire bases to try to pump mass and units out as much as they can. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and see where our players are headed off to in this game. It does look like it's going to be a 1v1 at a minimum for the northwest corner of the map here between Team 1's Jim Jack J and Team 2's Manger. We do see a lot more focus on pumping out engineers and units here for Jim Jack J. Again, there's a lot of reclaim up here that he desperately wants. We do see that Eurofmeister is heading southwestward to grab this chunk of mass. Team 2, on the other hand, we see the Eggroll pushing up to assist the reclaim efforts of ADZ, as well as faffing off pushing eastward to grab this set of mass. And Ricky Tiki Taffy looks like he's going to be a 1v1 between Peter and himself. We could see Loki kind of shift eastward. We could also see the same thing, or southward. We could see the same thing here for faffing off shifting eastward as well. So possibly a 1v1 in the north, 1v1 in the Midwest. We don't see any sort of comm output. Oh, we do see Sir Spot-A-Lot moving to the middle of the map. A couple of units outbound from Yerfmeister to raid Team 2's non-existent mexes or engineers over there. It looks like it's going to be a 2v1 in the middle and maybe possibly 2v2. If not, could be a 3v1 in favor of Team 2 or 3v2 and at least a 1v1 in the southeast. But Team 2's Manger is not prioritizing the north, and this is huge for Jim Jack J. He's getting a ton of reclaim uncontested. Going to be able to scoop that up immediately. Probably should get a couple more engineers out just to, again, really blitz down all of that mass. The last thing you want to do is have control of it and then lose control of it and not scoop up as much as you can. But these ecos for these players are going to skyrocket immediately. Just because of all the mass, you can funnel into unit upgrades in terms of T1 to T3. You can get it into, obviously, the mechs upgrades as well, getting your power generation online sooner rather than later, and just really expanding out the game, which means we're going to see bigger ticket items like monkeys, colossi, chickens, fat boys. We could see an early satellite from Team 1. We could see an early crab from Team 2. Somebody, I mean, there's 3 Cyberns on Team 2. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them went straight for crab and just ignored monkey, which does tend to happen when you just have an abundant of mass to spend, which in this case might be the case for specifically probably ADZ because he did get to this reclaim in the middle pretty early. Does look like he is facing some pushback here from Sir Spot-A-Lot, getting a couple of Team 1 land factories just to pump out engineers. And ADZ again trying to grab this section of the map. He's already claimed his half of the mass in the middle, but with the help of the egg roll, it should be enough to force back Sir Spot-A-Lot. But he does have a decent amount of engineers on station. And these comms, looks like egg roll's focusing on reclaim, and looks like ADZ is going to focus on taking out the engineers first, trying to deny the reclaim for Team 1. That, I mean, you got to grab as much as you can, but if you can deny the engineers, then you can grab all if not most of it. So definitely one of those, do you take the risk of just maybe you'll be able to secure it, maybe you won't, or do you take what you can get and get out of there? It's one of those risk reward kind of plays. Calm action here between Sir Spot-A-Lot and ADZ. ADZ has a couple of strikers nearby, but the egg roll is also nearby as well, so he could easily stop reclaim efforts and assist with this push. Sir Spot-A-Lot really needs to grab this mass in the middle because he really hasn't had a whole lot in terms of reclaim. In the northwest again, seeing a lot of buildup of units here for Manger. Manger going for T2. Gun started here for Yerfmeister. Jim Jack J has not started any upgrades as of yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for something. We see a transport outbound from Team 1's Loki. He's on the eastern side of the map. He's gone all the way around, and that transport has been spotted by Team 2. Will it land? Most likely. Will it make a lot of progress? Maybe, maybe not. Looks like he's going all the way into the rear, going to establish a nice southwestern corner of the map based on trying to just annoy and distract Team 2. We already see those flares outbound from Team 1's Yerfmeister. Got all the way in, either got transported there or got all the way in there and has taken out a decent group of mass points and a radar. Going to definitely annoy Team 2 at a minimum, which is always something that players in this game want to do. T2 has been started and almost completed for Peter and Ricky Tiki Tavi going for speed range. So again, defensive versus offensive measures here for Team 1 and Team 2. Loki and faffing off having some disagreements and trying to scoop up the remaining mass on Team 1's side of the map. It looks like ADZ, with the help of the egg roll, has able to push off Sir Spot-A-Lot for a little bit. ADZ is in the yellow, but he's in the high yellows, and he's almost at 1-star veterancy, so he should be fine for the time being, unless I am proven wrong and gunships come in and just wipe him out, which could happen. It has happened, so definitely not trying to be foreseeing the future. I know that this game is fine. There's no issues with it. So I there's not an issue of like desyncs or anything. Just I don't know who won. I just went, oh, okay, it works. Closed it. Went to the next game to make sure that it worked. Which I try to cast blind, just so that I can kind of get a little more, not necessarily an authentic casting, but like if the game was happening live, I'm casting it live. That's kind of the impression that I want to give. In the northwest, we see Team 2's Manger is shoving a bunch of units into the corner. He might try to go eastward, which it does look like he's trying to do, but there are already units sitting here for Jim Jack J that can easily intercept, and I think Jim Jack J has the numbers. If he doesn't, it wouldn't be too difficult to send some reinforcements up northward to deal with this huge push of units outbound. from Euromeister, he has the speed / range upgrades on board versus Team 2's Manger's T2 upgrade, getting some PD online. Probably needs to get a Team D as well, but he has T1 and T2 and a couple of AA emplacements as well, so he's pretty well protected. All he needs is a shield and a TMD, and he's good to go. Well, a couple TMD. Gun upgrade has been finished for Riki Tiki Tavi. Units are engaging one another in the southeastern corner. Looks like Spam Factories has been started. Production here for him, and gun damage range has also been started for Sir Spotalot, who has already gone for T2, who has a little bit kind of a split defense offensive plays, gives him a little bit more hit points, more survivability, as well as being able to fire back a little bit more at range and of course damage. T2 starting here for ADZ, trying to secure the midpoint of the map. We do see faffing off. Looks like he's not going to shift south and then east. He might actually go on this little hill up a plateau section and shoot down at his opponent of Peter, or he could just continue northeastward against Loki. Loki not really having a lot online, actually has nothing online except for everything in his base. He has no frontline facilities or anything. I don't know if he's distracted doing something else. He did try to attack in the southwest here. It looks like he got some damage done, but it wasn't enough, at least probably as much as he probably would have liked it to be. That's definitely unfortunate, but there's only so much you can do in the middle of Team 2's base, essentially in or behind enemy lines. That is the word I was trying to go for and look at. Nano repair has been started for Jim Jekji. He has the stealth upgrade already on board. T2 shield has been established. Manger going to push in westward to assist with defensive measures over here. Now this is the perfect time for Team 1's Euromeister to attack. The comm is not here. There's a couple of PD emplacements, but not enough to stop this force. Does look like he has taken a couple of unit casualties. Looks like that was from... I mean, I don't think it's from a T3 bomber. I don't know if they would go after that, but maybe a T2 Notha or something. T2 air has been established, upgrading to T3 here for the egg roll. T3 is on the way, I would assume. It is completed, excuse me, for Loki. So he's actually shifted to the northeastern corner of the map and going for air. Looks like it's going to be a 1v1 scenario here between the highest rated player on team, actually the second highest rated player on Team 2 and tied for the highest rated player on Team 1. Units are engaging one another once again in the southeastern corner. Looks like Team 1's Peter has the advantage, having a couple of asylums and blazes, and also some obsidians. Love to see that mix of units here. Very, very good to see that. Of course, personal shields, bubble shields, very effective of dealing with enemy incoming fire. We see more units kind of collapsing on this force down here. Team 2's Riki Tiki Tavi looks like he's going to get overrun here pretty shortly. He is spamming out a lot of units, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to force Team 1's Peter back. He really needs a push outbound from a different direction to distract Peter and force his units to fall back, giving him a little bit more room to work with. We do see that ADZ is trying to PD creep against Sir Spotalot. We have some Cerberus PD versus some Triads. Obviously, for those of you who are aware of my proclivities, I favor the Triad. But again, the Cerberus are a really good unit in the sense of going after T1 units. They fire very, very quickly, so they can blitz down all the hit points, all the essentially 130, 200, 300 hit points on board. Of course, they're not really strong against much anything else. Shield will be established here to protect those PD emplacements. And now Sir Spotalot coming in to assist his units as well. Strat Bomber is outbound from Team 1's air player of Loki. Going to drop, taking out a couple of mechs. I think those were T2. Now those look like they were T2 mechs. And going to continue on southwest, going after this group of mechs. Killing off one ring mechs, or fully decked out mechs here for the air player of the egg. We're going to hover bomb here for a second. Drop another bomb at those two P-gens to kill off the T2. Will not kill off the T3, but at least a couple of shots on some energy producing facilities is always good. And ASFs are online, not only for the egg roll, but also for faffing off. So 2 air players for Team 2. So we're seeing 3 land players, 2 air players, versus 4 land players and 1 air player. So that might be the difference here for Team 1 or Team 2, depending on what side of the conflict proves to be more beneficial. But a couple of Medusa, actually no, those are Mantis, outbound here from faffing off, get in, take out a couple of mexes, as well as try to do some damage to the main base mexes here for Peter. They're seeing a lot of success, but again, the distraction was met. It gave a little bit more time for Ricky Tiki Tavi to get his comm over there. And with him over there, it should be enough for him to force back at least a little bit for Team 2's Southeastern player. We do see that Manger is trying to push once again against Jim Jack J. Not really any success so far. Both players retain essentially the same territory they already had, but trying to do what they can with what they have is, I mean, they can only do so much, of course, so trying to manage with what they have is better than nothing. We do see some stealth fields online just to protect that PD emplacement. I think Team 1 already knows it's there. Actually, no, they don't. They know a destroyed structure was there, but that was it. So they don't know anything of that base. And Team 1's Yerfmeister kind of hanging out, not really doing a whole lot with his comm and his units, just kind of hanging there on the front line. He might be ecoing a little bit more, which, I mean, he's sitting at 164, so that's definitely the case. Team 2 is not pressuring him on the land side of things or in the air, so he can spend all the time he wants to, get his eco up and running, which would expedite Team 1's expansionary efforts on the land side of things. Of course, they don't really have as much air power as Team 2 does, especially with only having one player going for air. But at a minimum, at least, he can fight back on land, spam up some of those T3 AA units, Redeemers, and all the like. We do see Loki on the front lines trying to protect Peter's base. We do see some units outbound from faffing off, trying to do what he can to encircle Team 1's Peter. Those units have come in to try to deal with Peter's fire base. Looks like he's going to be fine for now. He has a couple of PD emplacements, both Team 1 and T2. So he should be fine. But again, it's more annoying. It's more distractions, more things he has to worry about, giving, again, Ricky Tiki Tavi a little bit more of an upper hand and dealing with these eastern edge of Peter's lineup. Northwest units clash here between Jim Jack J and Manger 33. Some Ilshis get behind the comm. Ilshi's very powerful unit. And Tham also getting by. Engineers actually repping up their own and reclaiming as they do so. Radar system does get taken out. Lots of units kind of just running back and forth here. Team 1 has a lot of spam, especially seeing that Yerfmeister actually pulled his units back to assist. Looks like, okay, he doesn't need to do that. We'll send them back. Team 2's Manger takes the opportunity of those units distracted and sends them forward. Love that play. He saw what was happening with Team 1, said, this is my time to strike, and goes for it. He has a couple of Ilshis, a couple of Thams, as well as some Zui in the mix. I would love to see some AA. We see one T1 AA, but I don't see any T2. I feel like that's the only thing he's realistically missing in his base at this stage in the game. Units getting in, trying to deal with these engineers, getting expansionary efforts here in the eco side of things. Forcer spot a lot. Firebase force here between a Cybern and a UEF in the middle of the map. And with the, not necessarily collapse, but the incoming units outbound from Manger, it's going to be a little bit damaging here. A couple of mexes will go down. Harbinger will come in to assist. Going to blitz down the Ilshis first and take everything else out. Artillery raining in, trying to take out those remaining, not pigeons, but, mexes. Wow, I'm trying to struggle saying words here. And 2 of the mexes were taken out. That's 18 mass a second, plus, of course, a little bit of loss in mass from the mass extractors going down. And the Harbinger reclaiming the structures from Sir Spot a lot. I don't know if that's definitely the best etiquette to do, but maybe he misclicked or something. I don't know. But he's going to lose 20 mass income with the 2 mass storages going down. Firebasing wars not really going super in favor of Sir Spot-a-lot. Of course, the missile launchers from the Cyberns can still get through, even if they are shot once, because they split once they are shot in the air. A couple of mexes were taken out under Peter's firebase here, but looks like he's fine. He's building those back up. Nano has been started here for Ricky Tiki Tavi. He's almost at 3-star veterancy. And with that Nano, it's going to be very annoying to deal with that commander. Lots of Harbingers being produced here for Team 1's Yerfmeister. He's sitting at 253 mass per second. Team 2's highest mass producing player is faffing off at almost 300. So keeping relatively in par with his mirror. Well, actually his mirror would be the egg roll, so his mirror would be low-key technically. But anyway, he's relatively keeping up pace with highest producing mass player on Team 2. Lots and lots of units. We're seeing those loyalists being produced here by Jack J. Very useful in dealing with missiles inbound. Of course, I don't see a lot of missile launchers in this mix. There are a few of them. There's not that many, but they are a good unit. They also have the EMP weapons, which make taking out bigger targets more annoying. But I love this. Just a couple of fire beetles. Does Team 1 see them? He does see radar signatures. He doesn't know what they are, and now he knows what they are. They are cloaked, but I think there's an Omni nearby, which would be somewhere. Oh, it's back here. So, yeah, they're definitely in range. And Loki actually senses the threat and goes, no, I'm just going to go hide. See you bye. Loki says, bombs. Bombs. And they go northward. Does Team 1 respond quick enough? Interceptors will move in. These fire beetles, what are they going after? Maybe some mexes. Taking out the radar would be great. Looks like the missiles are firing. They're going to take out a couple of flapjacks, and they kill off a T3. I think that was a T3. Was that a T3 Mechs? No, that was a T2 Mechs. That's a T3 Mechs. But, hey, they took out a Mechs, and I love to see fire beetles being used. I wish they were used more often. They just are countered relatively easily. You just need an Omni. That's it. That's all you need. So, it's nice to see them, but I wish they were used a little bit more often. We do see, again, that PD artillery missile creep here for Team 2 is really forcing back Sir Spawn-A-Lot. He's lost the fire base wars for now and is retreating to move in and secure a different position. We do see some bombers overhead going after some rhinos. Rhinos trying to kill off another T2 Mechs, upgrading to T3. Looks like the rhinos will be killed off before they get that Mechs killed off, though. 500 hit points remain. They probably could have sat there and blitzed it down. Unfortunately, now a mass storage is in the way, and he's trying to dodge the best he can. Oh, 300. Every shot's 50 damage. Is it going to be enough to save it? Yes, it is. At 50 hit points remaining, a T2 Mechs is saved. Very close to death there, but a nice grouping of Harbingers here. Outbound from Team 1's Earthmeister, who is also gone for Nuke, the Apocalypse T3 strategic missile launcher. Definitely one of those on-the-nose names of structures or units in this game. Apocalypse and Stone Anger, I think, are my two favorite for nukes, especially because you're just going to reduce somebody to the Stone Age, and it's kind of Apocalypse for nukes to launch. But here are some gunships outbound from FAFing off. I thought I heard an explosion, but I guess not. Missile outbound from FAFing off as well, going after Mexes here for Peter. So he's doing double duty, attacking land units over here and firing missiles over here. Those Harbingers will kill off a decent amount of mass income here for Team 2. Looks like there might be some power issues for Earthmeister. No, it looks like he's fine. Okay, maybe he had some because I saw them blink for a second. At least I thought they blinked. It could have just been me zooming in and out. ASF's guarding the gunship investment here for Team 2. Faffing off does engage the ASFs here from Team 1's Loki. And we'll get a decent engagement here. And the ASFs get out immediately. Look at that. Just turned in, killed off some ASFs, and left. Great micro here by faffing off. And in the northwest, though, Jack J is just running over Manger. And Team 2 needs to divert more resources over this. Looks like the focus on Team 2 is Manger. We're seeing those Harbingers actually go directly west to try to go after Manger's Mexes and Com. I don't know if they know the Com is there, but they're going to go after the T2 land headquarters, upgrading to T3. And those facility might be saved. There's not really that many Harbingers remaining, and that facility is still in the yellow. It's going to drop into the red. Is it going to be close enough to death? It will be killed off, so that's definitely going to be fortunate for Manger. But he does have another issue from the north of a lot of spam. T1, T2, and T3 outbound from Jack J. Looks like it's mainly T1, but there are T3 units. I see those loyalists as well as a brick inbound as well. Those gunships proving very invaluable here for faffing up, for defending not only his stuff but his teammate stuff as well. And more gunships are being added to the ball. The more gunships get added, the more AA they have, the more deadly it gets for ASF from Team 1 to engage. Team 1 definitely needs to get some AA mobile online, and ASFs do crowd to try to protect the rest of that land investment here from Jack J. Another attack in the southeast. Team 2's Ricky Tiki Tavi trying to push through Team 1's front lines of Peter. not really having that much success, but has pushed him back a little bit. Faffing off finishes the first experimental, I believe, of the game. It is a monkey using the hives to expedite that construction. We do see that PD base coming online, providing dividends and forcing back those units, or at least keeping them at bay. Team 2's gunship ball is getting a little bit beefier as time goes on, of course, and more gunships being added to that count. Looks like the ASF's transferred over and the gunships transferred over to the egg roll. I'll give gunships too, says Faffing off, so it looks like he's busy doing something else. Looks like he's going to go for some mass fab farms. And he has, actually, wow, usually the first time I see mass fab farms ringing a T3 air facility, but he's actually using those to produce the gunships, or reducing the mass cost instead of it costing, I don't even know how much the base mass per second costs of a gunship, but it's now sitting at -5, which is really good. The power is definitely something to be desired, but of course the pigeons assist with the power cost for the mass fabricator. So again, there's definitely one of those, do you cut out the power requirements, do you cut out the mass requirements? I feel like most people would say probably the mass is definitely will provide more dividends over long term, but of course, you know, if you lose this, it just hurts, because not only do you lose the amount of mass that you're producing per second, but you're losing the amount of savings you also get. But Rikki Tikki Tavi taken out by Team 1's Peter, just by this PD bank up here. Is now a 5v4 in favor of Team 1. Gunships coming in and just assassinating all of the mass extractors here for Loki, essentially crippling the air player of Team 1. That nuke launcher is loaded and is about to fire. There it goes. It's taking a second. It's taking a second. There it goes. It is outbound. That is a huge nuke, I might add, for not even the super nuke of the YOLO variety, just a regular nuke. And it is outbound, going after this base here for Faffing off. So just as Faffing off starts to expand out his mass grid and, of course, produce all those gunships, he is going to lose it. That is going to hurt. That is a lot of income. He's sitting at 500 mass income. He, of course, has everything that Rikki Tikki Tavi had, but his air grid is going to go down at the same time that Team 2 is assassinating the mass incomes here for Team 1. And now they might be going after the ones for Yerfmeister. The nuke is over here. That could be killed off very quickly. Of course, we'll go back to here. The SMD was just built, and boom! That nuke killed off a ton of stuff here for Team 2. Sitting at 102,000 mass killed off in one nuke. One of the best regular nukes I think I have ever seen. Very, very efficient with that mass cost for the missile. The nuke will be killed off, but it paid for itself and then some. Quite significantly here. The base for Yerfmeister will be reduced to ashes, but he reduced Faffing off space, dropping his eco from... Oh, he's still sitting at 500. And Manger control case looks like... Yeah, that's definitely a control K. It's not a power control K, so he is killed off in the west. Team 2 has lost 2 players, sitting this game at a 5v3. Let's take a look at the game overall just really quick before more stuff happens. Team 1, of course, 5 players left. Team 2 has lost Rikki Tikki Tavi and recently just Manger. Team 1 sitting at less than 1,000 mass. Actually, well, their numbers keep flip-flopping. Team 1 sitting at, I'd say 1,000, and Team 2 also sitting at 1,000 mass income. Team 1 controlling more than 50% of the map, especially with this huge incursion of Team 1, T2, and T3 units outbound from Jim Jack J. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game, of course. And if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate all of the time, all the attention to give to these videos. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with this land engagement in the west. Looks like it's losing a lot of steam and momentum. Team 2 is sending a lot more forces and defenses to be built in a defense of this huge just outpouring of units. We see more units outbound from Yerfmeister to assist. A couple of sniper bots that look like Harbingers, and a couple of Redeemers that look like shorter Harbingers. Definitely love their kind of really thin spider-like legs from the Aeon variety. Gunships coming in, provided tons of value, killed off thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of mass here on Team 1's side of the map, dropping their eco quite significantly at the same time that Team 1 has just stomped on the western side of the map and killed off Rikki Tikki Tavi. Monkey coming in, taking out the base here for Peter. And it is back and forth between these two teams. This amount of mass extractors will be killed off. One T3 Mechs will die, but unfortunately for Jim Jack J, the only way he can get these forces out is either by transport or by retreating them back the way they came. Unfortunately, the aggro, with assistance of ADZs and bricks and other units, are going to close that gap, forcing these units to hunker down here and do what they can behind enemy lines. Artillery firing at something over here, but looks like it's dealt with it. That mass storage was being built. But the gunship's still providing such a huge threat here against Team 1. Teleporter has been started by faffing off. Has he built the laser? No, not yet. He's just started it yet. He's expanding out his hive grid and not really building any more mass extractors so far. But he's pushing on the east. Looks like the monkey has diverted southeastwardly. There's a large group of forces here for Sir Spot-A-Lot. Looks like faffing off, just trying to take out all the defenses first and then going to move in with his land forces. He doesn't really have that many left. But that monkey, I mean, he's sitting at 2-star veterancy and there are harbingers inbound. I don't think that's the best play. The monkeys, I mean, it does have some PD to fight off, but the harbingers, once they come into range of the laser, will be blitzed down very, very quickly. But the laser is going to be focused on something. I don't know. It's just having an issue determining target priority, I guess. Ricky Tiki Tavi says build SAMs. And that is what... they're building SAMs, I should say. And more of those mechs are being taken out. AA trying to be built up by Jim Jack Day to deal with these gunships with, again, thousands upon 10,000s of mass has been killed off. Each of them sitting at, I think, 5-star veterancy, which just shows how long they've been alive and how much damage they have done. And still, Team 1 is sitting at more income than Team 2. And it looks like with all of these T3 bricks online, it's really forcing back the mainly T1 forces for Team 1 to receive, and a chicken out of that mix as well from the egg roll. Nano repair has been started. Advanced, has been started for the egg roll. And so give him more survivability on that. Looks like he's killing off all of his, I think those were PD. Looks like those were PD and built for defensive measures. He doesn't need them anymore, at least for the time being. Second chicken also built here for him as well. I don't see any nukes or anything like that as of yet here for Team 2, or any sort of, artillery, game renders, that sort of thing. Team 1, they reclaimed the nuke. I'm going to build that again, at least for a little bit. Don't see much of anything else. Again, just trying to reclaim the best they can. Rebuild air grid expansion over here in the east for Loki. He's sitting in the water over here, and Peter is building a Colossus. Almost finished with that, so he'll have a nice experimental online here shortly. Both of his fire bases have been destroyed. That Colossus will finish before the monkey reaches that base. And in the middle, large group of Percy's try to force back Team 2's ADZ's base. A lot of T1 PD, and then I see T2 PD kind of providing a nice little buffer for those T2 PD emplacements. But there's also some mobile missile launchers here in the mix. Some of those flapjacks, as well as, do I see any of those spearheads? No, looks like they're just flapjacks. Spearheads, very useful. They pump out missiles very, very quickly. Those T3 variety mobile missile platforms. Chicken just going to charge forward because it can. Lots of sniper bots here. Definitely needs to be cognizant of that because they can blitz down missiles very, very quickly if left untreated. GC says Ricky Tiki Tavi. So yeah, obviously when there's a GC in front of your monkey, it's only going to go one way. The monkey will not get out of range before that Colossus comes and claims its head. It's killed off 50,000 mass, so definitely paid for itself and then some. And the Colossus will lose half of its hit points. Will take a minute to rep those up, so it's not going to be that useful. Looks like the Colossus is going to retreat for the time being, just to again rep back up. Teleporter has been paused, but again a little bit of progress has been made on it here. Faffing off, trying to just recoup his losses. Air grid probably should be expanded and is going to be here for the egg roll. And again, now is the time of the game where APM starts to really show its hand here. Team 1 has all of their players left. The ecos are not necessarily the same, but roughly the same. 1.2, 1.2. Mass is being lost all the time. Gained, reclaimed. So the values are kind of a little off. Both teams have reclaimed 115,000 mass even. Dead even between both these teams. A little bit more for Team 2 just recently. But again, with both of these teams staying relatively with mass in terms of reclaim scooped up, it really comes down to the eco generation being how much mass can you generate per second. Chicken has been destroyed by Team 1. Team 2 needs to get that wreck before Team 1 does. It's 12,000 mass right there. But they're reclaiming all of the destruction over here in the west. A lot of these units are T1s. I would love to see all of these be Fire Beetles. That'd be devastating. Team 2 does not have an Omni that I can see, so they would not be able to see them unless they have spy planes overhead or anything that has an Omni sensor. That'd be very big for Team 1, but those Fire Beetles aren't being used right now. Chicken being sent down the middle, going after Sir Spotlight. Sir Spotlight on an upgrade will probably sit there, finish it, and then retreat. Chicken is sitting at range so far, so nothing really to worry about just yet. Looks like he's building a FAF boring. I don't believe that is going to finish, unfortunately for him. T3 mechs under fire from some artillery for Sir Spotlight as well. And that number of, that mass income is shifting 1.2, 1.3, 1.1, that sort of thing. And the bricks just continue to just push on forward. Look at this, just it will not stop. The same brick line has just sent its way forward and really just collapsed any sort of spam functionality from Team 1's Jim Jack J. And he's still sending units out, trying to hold them off. Looks like they will retreat for the time being, but those gunships are always going to be a threat from Team 2. We see that chicken moving in. Actually, he's not moving in. The units are moving in. Percy's coming in as well. Those are going to have to be focused down first. Those are the main issues here for the chicken. The chicken will lose thousands of hit points very, very quickly. Baffling coming in with his own units, some bricks. Chicken will get some decent value out of it, going at 1-star veterancy here so far. Nice double kill there on those Percys. But look at the hit points already in the yellow. Unfortunately, if the Percys group up, it heavily favors the chicken because of the the variety of damage that this does. Either the rapid fire gun, the second fastest firing gun, and the slow, bigger AoE gun. Bricks move in. ASF's sitting over top. Lots of Redeemers coming in, as well as those sniper bots, I would assume. Yep, there they are. And Chicken will not continue to move forward, but has been gifted over to faffing off just so that he can micro it, because he's probably already microing those bricks on the front line there. We do see Sir Spotlight spamming out some T1 PD to protect himself. Will do a decent job of killing off those bricks. Would love to see the radar system be killed off there. Take out the eyes here for Team 1. There's also a backup one up there. So again, always nice to have backups. Very important to have backups, but there's such thing as having too many backups, so that is one of those things. And the Omni not taken out. Oh, no, never mind. Heard me from the ether. It was targeted. In the southwest, we see any bigger plays here from Team 2. No artillery, no game enders as of yet from anybody. If it's going to be anybody, it's either going to be the egg roll or faffing off. But faffing off might go for teleporter, so probably the egg roll. Team 1, I don't see any nukes yet or any sort of artillery or any sort of, game ender plays as you've had 34 minutes. Definitely needs to start thinking about how to end the game. It's one thing to survive it. It's another thing to win it. Because you can survive it and not win it, and you can win it and not survive it. Just depends on the situation. Harbinger's coming in to reclaim the wrecks here to try to do what they can. I've used that engineering suite on board. More and more bricks being added to the situation in the west, as well as a bunch of Medusa trying to spam out some artillery, trying to do what they can. They have some nice AoE, EMPs on board, so they can do some not deactivation, but some disabling here on Team 1's forces. Gunship is roaming the map here for Team 2's air player of the egg roll. And we do see a large group of ASFs over here in the southeast. Don't know what they're doing over here, but Team 2's faffing off has re-expanded his air grid and has actually sent it over here. Not where you would expect it over here, but over here, trying to prevent Team 1 from just assuming he's going to build it there, which might be just a ruse to bring in a GC or something. I don't know. Team 2 also does notice that GC from Ricky Tiki Tavi. Actually, that's a different GC. That's out from the Earthmeister. He's building another. He's spamming out GCs as we speak. And looks like possibly was gifted control over one, because I don't see one built for Earthmeister. Usually when it's somebody's built one and somebody's built one after that, it's usually transfer control. But 2 GCs online. This one at 3,500 hit points remaining. 1-star veterancy. Monkey definitely needs to get out of range because that Colossus is coming for its head. Gunship Ball says ADZ. Oh yeah, Gunship Ball is inbound. It is T2. It's not T3, but Gunship Ball is Gunship Ball. Definitely should not land those forces though, because that would be very bad for those gunships. But again, look at the bricks. Look at the power of just spamming out bricks. Again, they fire very, very quickly, have lots of hit points, are very valuable for dealing with T1, T2 units. T3, it kind of matters, but obviously more on an even playing field. Really good at used against spam, not necessarily against Perseus, unless it's, equal to or greater numbers for the bricks versus the Perseus. Artillery raiding in, killing off all of these Harbingers. And they're just roaming the map, getting reclaim here for Yerfmeister. Yerfmeister builds another experimental. It's another GC. And now he's going to build another one. And he's sending those westward to deal with the bricks that have already been dealt with. And they are trying to retreat. Some of them will make it, will not make it. Some of them will make it. And Ricky Tiki Tavi still acting as the man in the chair, the man in the sky here for Team 2. I love that. You're not out of the game just yet. If you die, you can still contribute in one way or the other. Bricks running by this GC, now back up to almost 6,000 hit points. Now the GCs are given orders to engage. The bricks are going to continue northward, and now we even see Sir Spotlight going for GC. Lots of GCs here for Team 1. Team 2, I don't see much of anything yet in terms of spicy plays. The laser has been started here for faffing off. He's completed the teleportation upgrade on board that chassis. And now he's going to strap a giant laser to his chest. What is up with like UEF and Cybern's being, one of them being like, I'm going to strap a nuke to my chest, and the other one being like, I'm going to strap a giant laser to my chest? Because why not? Why not just strap a giant weapon of mass destruction on your, or a miniature version of a weapon of mass destruction on your chest? Because why not? Not that, you're piloting that mech essentially and you could die, but hey, why not, right? Who knows? They could be quote-unquote remotely piloted kind of things, But given the lore, there's an actual like human being. I wouldn't say cyborg. Cyberns aren't really. I mean, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if you think Cyberns are more of a synthetic life form within a cyborg, because cyborg indicates it's more kind of a. Well, Cyborg's a good example from the DC universe of like a human that has augmentation because he got into an accident and. If it wasn't for that, he would have died kind of thing. But versus synthetic, kind of more a like android, kind of like Data from Star Trek, where he wasn't organic or he wasn't a biological life form to begin with, but he's I wouldn't say a robot, but an android. Let me know down in the comments what you think. I can't remember based off the lore. I think they're more... They have a lot of cybernetics, so they're probably androids, but I can't remember. It's been a long time. I keep saying this once in a while. I really need to just sit down and play the FAF, not the FAF, but the Supreme Commander / Forge Alliance storyline again in the campaign. I might do that I might post that a question maybe at some point and be like, hey, would that be something that anybody would like to watch? Because it's playing Supreme Commander, but it's playing the campaign, which I don't think gets a lot of action. Mainly you just see this. But, I mean, obviously this is really fun to cast, which is why we cast it. But anyway, side tangent on talking about campaign and difference between robot, android, cyborg, all that nonsense. Chicken in the middle going after those Harbingers that were repping up its brethren, saying, hey, that belongs to us. Team 2 sitting at 2.1k income, so while my little side conversation was going on, Team 2 has really expedited their mass expansion efforts. You can see the reclaim definitely favors Team 1 now, almost 100,000 more. Total mass accrued does in favor Team 2 ever so slightly by about 80,000 mass, but that 2.2k mass per second is going to provide a huge amount of dividends. 2 GCs, though, definitely not going to help the chicken cause, though. The chickens can only be spammed up so very quickly. And 2 lasers to the face don't help. There is a crab, though, for ADZ, and a second chicken coming to assist. The Team 1 probably desperately wants to scoop up the reclaim from the chicken wreck. There are going to be casualties, though, from the Ion Storm. The initial explosion, and then obviously all of the Harbingers being killed off. Definitely in this case, the Harbingers are the better ones to take out. The Ion Storm isn't controllable, but at least taking out the ability to reclaim and forcing your opponent to bring out other units or engineers to reclaim is better than nothing. And engineers are moving in from ADZ probably to reclaim that wreck. They shouldn't be targeted. There shouldn't be any friendly fire on Ion Storms. Yeah, I don't think there's any friendly fire on Ion Storms. He should be fine. 3, 4 GCs as ADZ. There are 4 GCs online for Yerfmeister. I think he sent more over here at some point. Yeah, there's one over here under the control of Jim Jack J. And there's also, I think, 2 GCs over here, unless there's been a fight earlier on. Monkey was killed off eventually. ASFs taking out the rest of the ASFs here for Team 2, trying to protect the gunship investment, and as well taking out the crab investment for Team 2's faffing off. He has an artillery being built in the east here, so somebody's thinking about how to end the game from long-term negotiations. Colossus being built once again. No reinvestment in the nuke, very interestingly here from Team 1. Awasaw bomber under construction, almost finished for Loki. He has air control, that makes sense, but artillery has been built by Team 2. Where is it? There it is. Second one has been started. It's already half done. Needs a little bit more pigeons around that mass fab farm, though. Looks like it's targeting the air grid up here in the east, and shield grids probably will be established here pretty shortly to defend said artillery grid. Tactical missile has been started here for Sir Spot-A-Lot. Probably will go for Billy Nuke next. Especially at this stage in the game, you want that longer range missile on board. Crab being used to take out the incoming Harbingers. Colossi are inbound. 1 chicken versus 1 crab versus 4 GCs. That's not going to be enough. Team 2 needs more. Tactical nuke has been started, so is going for Billy Nuke. The laser and the teleporter is done. Windwell faffing off. Move in. The Awasaw bomber has been constructed. It is online. Artillery still raining in. We'll get a decent cascade, kill off a couple of structures, and then building more shields to protect said investment. How many times, says Loki? I don't know if he's talking about just the rating that's going on, but it looks like more gunships came in and killed off more of that stuff. Another force forward here from Team 1. Jim Jack J trying to force their way forward on the western side, but Team 2 is more prepared for this incursion, and it will kill off the GC before it kills off the chicken, and that's going to be Veterancy here for that chicken. And 1 GC is down, 1 chicken is down, second GC will die, 2 more coming in to try to assist this push. That second GC goes down, and Yerfmeister is defeated by faffing off in the explosion, but faffing off is killed off by Loki's Awasaw bomber. No way getting out of there here for faffing off, and so Team 1 suffers a casualty. Team 2 also suffers a casualty. It is now a 4v2 in favor of Team 1. It is a 2-to-1 advantage in comms remaining, and 2 GCs over here are going to rip apart the rest of those forces from faffing off now under the control of the egg roll. Egg roll sitting at 1.8k mass income per second, which was a megaton of mass, and second artillery is online. Needs more shields, of course. I will always say that. Never enough shielding ever. Looks like targets aligned for Sir Spot-A-Lot's command, or at least his base. Typically, obviously, the air grid is being protected by shields now. But it looks like Team 1's gained a little bit of an advantage, being able to hold position here. Lots of spam, a couple of bricks, and now a monkey being added to the mix. Crab doing a very good job of trying to help its brother, but its brother will die. Second Crab will come in to assist, and that GC is almost dead, so third GC will be killed off in that engagement from those 4 GCs. Now got augmented to 5. Unfortunately here, this GC is halfway dead. That GC is already dead. This one is at full HP. It might be enough to kill off that crab, but there is also a chicken nearby. It might not be enough. Awasaw bomber is inbound, already is in the yellow. The question is, how much damage will it wreak? Well, the shield grid is not protected by shields. The air grid is not protected by shields, excuse me. And there goes the bomb, going to kill off the T3 air headquarters. That's going to hurt. And the rest of that air grid is done and dusted. Team 2 no longer has an air facility, or at least the Seraphim variety. They're going to go after the artillery, but the bomber will be killed off by the ASF. Crash damage will miss it. And some ASF will be killed off by the bomb. That'll be helpful for taking out the ASF forces here from Team 2. But transport goods grabbed by a Colossus. GC ignores the crab. The crab is not going to be able to survive enough just because there's more units inbound. And chicken trying to hold off any sort of reinforcements. The monkey does go down. The chicken is fine. And in the east, not really a whole lot's going on. Crabs moving around, killing up GCs. GCs killing up crabs, that sort of thing. Team 1, you have anything else in the tank so far? I don't see any artillery or game raiders, anything of that sort. Of course, except for this emissary that's been being built for a while. Looks like it was put on pause, used to build bombers, says faffing off. And so faffing off also assisting from beyond the grid. But there is a group of Colossus over here, which is going to be very deadly here for Team 2's remaining air grid. They have this over here, but not that much of an air grid. Second crab, not second crab. Crab is online. Crab inbound. Crab being built here. It's still in the yellow. It's going to take a while. Heating investment is going to be established here. Artillery also being thrown from this firebase. The GCs ignored the middle and going straight on the side, which means that these structures can turn around and fire. They're going to go after the SMD. That's going to go down. I didn't see any nukes online for Team 1, so it's not super useful. But still, taking out the SMD is better than nothing. And it looks like the PD are trying to be stopped. They're going to refocus onto the crab. This will give a little bit of time for this crab to catch up. PD being built as quickly as it can be, and engineers being scooped up by those vacuum arms. Bricks also trying to be used to try to slow this approach. Lots of Percys in the mix. Love to see that. One artillery was taken out at some point. Don't know what by, but taken out by something. I don't think Team 1 has artillery, so it's probably gunships or something that came in and killed that off. And the GC is going to actually ignore the air grid and go straight for the mass fab farms under the control of the egg roll. Kill off a decent chunk of that eco. There it goes. There goes that chunk. That's going to hurt. What is this? 16 mass per group. So that's 64 mass, 128, 192. Crab trying to catch up to those GCs. The GCs will eventually get out of range of the crab. Chicken in the mix as well. That'll help. And now we see some gunships coming in. Looks like they're going after the artillery emplacement here for the egg roll. And is this going to be enough? Is this going to be enough for Team 2 to throw in the towel? Team 1, and this is not necessarily the last desperate effort, but that income now collapsing really quickly here for Team 2. The artillery will go down. The ion storm, if it targets the right units, could save the artillery. Unfortunately, I don't think it is. The only remaining artillery still online is going to go down. Gunships coming in, trying to stave this attack off. Not faffing off. The egg roll needs to move. This could be a death by GCs. Oh, this is going to be devastating here for Team 2. There goes the egg roll's commander. He's just sitting there having some fun time. GG out in chats here from faffing off. Oh, there they go. Egg roll's trying to get out of range. Crab's still trying to chase these GCs. GCs will get back in range just for a brief second. Where are the bombers? Where is the artillery? Where is the PD? Where is the everything? Eggroll turns around, fires. It's not going to be enough. There he goes. And it is now a 4v1 in favor of Team 1 with ADZ in the water trying to survive. I had artillery. It's fine. Not trying to flame. Made this game harder than it had to be. Loki takes it up. Okay. I think that was GG, says the egg roll. Yeah. With the death of egg roll and everything that he had, definitely one of those things where it's just Team 1 will essentially outlast Team 2. There's so much that Team 1 has under their control and still has active. Also, 47 minutes on the clock. Subcom Brain definitely is a huge factor here. Idle T4s and factories is faffing off. There's one GC down, not GC, there's a crab down there. Scathis has been started by ADZ. That could be the way that Team 2 does come back in this game. But with 3 GCs roaming the back line here, it's only going to just be sniping of mass income. Search spots a lot, builds and experimental. Don't know what it is. Looks like it's another GC. Lots and lots of GCs here for Team 1. Really using that, 99,999 power to their advantage. Resetting a basement, I couldn't recover at least a heads up and pre-giving base, the T3 bomber waste kill dust. Oh, this over here? Maybe that's what they're talking about. I was chilling winning south and you winning north, whatnot. I had 2 artilleries and enough T4 to hold. And looks like a gunship was grabbed by a GC. Don't really see that every day. And that GC's all the way back there. Explosion somewhere in the middle. Looks like that is a Billy Nuke. Outbound from point a lot. And that Scathis is in the yellow. To be fair, it's being built very, very quickly. I think I'm going to speed this up a little bit because the game's kind of slowing down. We see groups of strap bombers inbound going after, I don't know what they're going after. Air grid, possibly. Yep, looks like they're going to go after the air grid. That's going to hurt. Going after the P-gens. All of those bombers will be killed off by the air, though, so no second volleys inbound. GC trying to make its way into the water. Looks like that one will make it, but this one will not. And it's in the red, but it killed off 120,000 mass. That's a lot of mass to kill off. Looks like the Scathis may or may not be spotted. Yep, it is possibly spotted. Oh, there it is. Peter notices it. Stomp on him, says Loki. Can you stomp on the comm underneath the water? No, that's a miss. I don't know if you can stomp on him. Looks like he's going to try again. Nope, that's a miss. You can see his left leg barely missing. Colossus barely pops out of the water for a brief second. As he's moving back and forth, this Colossus dies. That Colossus also dies. How much crash damage will... He'll lose 8,000 hit points. That's going to hurt, but he's also sitting at 104 hit points a second region, so he should be fine there. It'd be funny. It'd be very funny to watch somebody die sitting underwater by GC crash damage, because it's 8,000 per crash. So you'd need 3 of them at this stage to kill him off, which would be a kill and win the game. But that that Scathis is done in essentially, I don't know, record time, but very, very quickly here. It's also on +2, but that Colossus is done. There it goes. Shield grid going to be established immediately, and it's going to just be shield, 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 and all shields every single day. And there goes the Scathis. What is it? What are you firing on? Looks like it's going. I don't know why the yellow circles disappear. Booming Nuke outbound, trying to go after the crab expansionary efforts that a lot of engineers are killed off. Don't know what the heck that was about. Looks like it fired the half of its volley. There it goes. Now it's going after the air grid in the north. Torp bombers are inbound here from Loki, trying to build those up. Cloaking has been transferred or built here for ADZ to protect himself. Looks like he might be popping on the land now to hide from the incursion of those Torp bombers. They are inbound, and he's going to hide out of the water. Team 1, they have spy planes. They can see him. You can actually see the footsteps. You see the unknown unit signature. The Torp bombers don't have a target because it's now on land. Colossi moving from the north, pushing in, and again, all of those T2 Torp bombers go, I can't target anything that's on land, sorry. And they can't even see them as well because there's no spy planes nearby. So that attack gets null and void there. Artillery says, faffing off, talking about this emissary. Should be fine. There's a decent amount of shielding. Probably needs a little bit more. But Pigeon's going down. That's not going to help. And then hives are going to be built. Artillery is raining in on that emissary. And the shielding is going to start to collapse here pretty shortly. It can speed it down to 1. I think that's a good speed. Crabs being very, very strong and trying to force these Galactic Colossus back. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. There's a lot of T3 Percy support. And now we have the comm running around the land here for ADZ, trying to stave off death. The entire southwestern section of Team 2's main bases have been destroyed. Emissary fire has started to break through the shielding, but now there's a Colossus nearby, and that might be it. PD being built very, very quickly. And now the Scathis does take a hit. Oh, it's going to die. It's going to get killed off here, unfortunately. The shields cannot hold against a GC's laser. It is a lot of shielding to chew through. Oh, watching Egro fumble the match was hilarious, too. There goes the Scathis. It is dead and gone. Just reading the chat. And the emissary survives just barely on 2,000 hit points. At this point, it is definitely game. There's not much that ADZ has remaining. I'm certain I could have done better. Well, had lots of fun. I do like the fact that a lot of people in chat are like, yeah, we lost, but it was fun. It was enjoyable. Show yourself, cowards. As Loki, glad to have a match like this. At 10, I teed him for a good victory, and he totally blew it. I wouldn't say that. I feel like, I mean, Team 2 did have the artillery, but there really wasn't anything else big that Team 2 had. And that nuke was rebuilt eventually by Team 1. And looks like it's going to land on that pond down there. Colossus trying to roam around, kill everything else off. Artillery raining in, helping out as well. And looks like ADZ is just going to walk to the eastern side of the map. Colossus just ripping apart the red. Sir, do you need some help with your target? targeting systems, because there it goes. It's like, that doesn't look great. Oh, shields are down. There goes the Nuke, kills off the rest of the air grid. And that's pretty much it. +2 speed. Now the laser has been started. I don't know where he's going with that. Maybe he'll just have this nice last hurrah. And he gets on that transport and he goes in. Does Team 1 know where he is? He does see the transport. He doesn't know what's on it. Looks like it's going straight for. Oh, and it gets shot down immediately by those ASFs. Team 1 wins the game with an explosion in the air. You can see it. It's all the way up there. That was the game. Team 1's MVP. I mean, that's a hard choice because Loki definitely did a very good job with the air side of things. Peter did a very good job with defensive measures over here, and Jim Jack J really put a lot of pressure on Team 2 on the western side. I don't really know who to give it to for Team 1. Sir Spot-A-Lot did a good job of holding the middle as well. He had a couple of issues with some incursions from Team 2, but he did a very good job holding. Team 2, I mean, I was going to give it to the Egg Roll had they won the match because he did a very good job with air. He got the artillery online, really scaled his ego very, very quickly. And Faffing Off also did a very good job as well. I feel like that nuke definitely set Team 2 back quite significantly. Had that nuke not happened, I feel like Team 2 would have had a higher percentage chance of winning. But I do think overall, I think I'm going to have to possibly give it to Loki just because he got the air situation under his control. Got that Awasaw came in, took out the air grid for the egg roll, then came in and did a lot of damage to this position. Obviously, the artillery and all the engineers around it. So I think just with that one move, it was enough to really just kind of set Team 1 in motion to win the game. But let me know down in the comments who you would pick for MVP. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate all the time and attention you give to each and every one of my videos. And I will see all of you in the next one.